What can we learn / know right now in 10 minutes that will be useful for the rest of our life? How to spot someone choking and how to help them. Takes 10 minutes to learn and could save a life. Also, how to spot someone legit drowning. It looks nothing like the movies. Head will be barely above water, with mouth bobbing slightly in and out of the water, opening and closing like a fish would. Probably won't see their hands, because they'll be moving wildly underwater. They won't be making much sound, if at all. They'll have glassy eyes with a faraway stare. All this adds up to a very non-Hollywood look that we're all used to. This person looks calm in the water because their amygdala has taken over and they are on autopilot to simply stay alive. This is one of the reasons why they don't speak. Speech isn't important at this point, so their brain shuts it down. This is also why it's extremely dangerous to personally engage a drowning person. They will drown you to save themselves and probably have no recollection of doing it. Always use a long pole, rope, flotation device, or something else onto which they can grab. Grasp the idea that everyone you meet knows something you do not. A wise man and a fool have a long conversation. The fool has the most to learn, but the wise man learns the most. Sorry for not being gender neutral. Close bracket. It's fine. Sometimes I think the attempt to be gender neutral takes away from the actual phrase or lesson. The phrase, "it probably isn't about you," applies to most everything. I mean, they're skills and not really wisdom, but warning signs of a stroke. How to use a fire extinguisher. Rolling your clothes after folding gives you more room in a drawer / suitcase. It's life changing. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. How to change a tire. Check your oil and jump a car. Also changing headlights without using your fingers because the oils will damage the bulbs. How to start a campfire and put it out. The Heimlich maneuver. How to tie a knot more than one way. How to sew a basic stitch. The basics of emergency first aid. How to spot a riptide and how to escape. How to shut off and turn on a circuit breaker and where they are located. What to do in an earthquake, tornado, tsunami and hurricane. How to properly stretch your hands and forearms. Stretch arms straight out forward. Point fingers up. Then without moving arms, ball a fist downward. Repeat as fast as possible. Taught indirectly from Bruce Lee. Is it supposed to click and pop like that? Bone-hurting juice should only be taken once a day. If you're somewhere quiet and your stomach is growling loudly, don't tense up your tummy muscles. Push your stomach out instead, and it will make the growl quieter. Wait, is this really a thing people get self-conscious about? I never knew, lol. I never knew I was self-conscious about it until last week when I woke up late and skipped breakfast and was sitting in my super quiet first period and my stomach was growling so loud that at least half the classroom could hear it. I honestly think I would rather come to school with my clothes inside out and 2 different shoes on because I haven't been that embarrassed for absolutely no reason in a long time. Your friends love you. Brain is just mean sometimes. My brain and an obstinate lump of duck. At least something is getting laid. It's easier to clean up cum with cold water than with hot water. Same goes for blood on clothes or other material. Meant to help out the ladies with this one. Not someone plotting their next murder. For some, it cleans their natural cycle. For others, they won't ever see that bully again. How to use the sort and filter functions on Excel. These functions can help prevent a lot of future pain. I think I owe at least one job to knowing how to use lookup. Somehow I never learned lookup. I was taught index match right out the gate and you sat for everything. CPR, you might save someone's life with it. If you have a cramp in your calf, stretch your toes back towards you and it'll help get rid of it. Mine are using so bad I have to stand up to force my foot straight, even from dead asleep. You need to drink more water, homie. Basic foundations of personal finance. Setting up a simple spreadsheet of one's budget is easy and useful. How to fix zipper. This. Also how to sew a button. I'm ashamed to say how many of my friends don't know how. I've also learned that lots of people don't know how to sew a button, which I find sort of amazing. I was taught how to do it as a child. So maybe I find it trivial. But it really feels like something that anybody with 2 minutes of time should be able to figure out. If you're home alone and choking, dial 911, grab a chair, and run out to the sidewalk. If you at least make it outside, others will see your suffering and will hopefully help you. If the 911 operator can, they'll track your phone down to your location. If you haven't passed out on the sidewalk, you can jump on the back of the chair and try to land on your abdomen and possibly get the object out of your airway. If anyone passing by is CPR certified, they can perform abdominal thrusts before you pass out and monitor you/call 911 for advice if you pass out. IDK man, I think it'd be too busy choking. It's definitely something you'd want to visualize ahead of time or you might panic instead. Your washing machine has several filters that need to be cleaned regularly. Your unit is the same. Not only do the dust filters, but the inside underneath the plastic body has several spots that need cleaning. Are these filters easy to get to, or is this something people should call someone for? How to bypass a lock. It's actually very easy to get through most locked doors. Any kind of card, license, credit card, whatever, can open a regular latch. If the door opens away from you, just slide it in between the door jamb and door handle. The card will slide in between the mechanism and open it. If the door opens towards you, it doesn't always work, but you can slide the card in and down at an angle to get behind the latch and open it that way. Most padlocks take less than 10 seconds to get into as well, but I don't know how to describe the technique with words. Portable acetylene torch. That's certainly one very aggressive way of achieving the task, lol. I've noticed that plenty of people find this simple concept counterintuitive. Doing somebody a favor is like earning money, not like spending money. You become richer by doing favors to people, not by getting them to do favors to you. Money itself is just a formalized way of tracking who owes favors and who is owed favors. This only works with people who aren't extremely self-absorbed. My relatives think in the reverse. If you do them a favor, then you owe them for having put them in the awkward position of having a favor done for them and getting the opportunity to feel like a good person by serving them. It's just a bottomless black hole of favors and entitlement all the way down. It's not a perfect system by any means. Sometimes people fail to reciprocate. Some people overemphasize the credit that they rightfully deserve. Sometimes one person thinks that they did somebody a favor, and the other thinks that they just did their duty, and rightly or wrongly believe that if the situation was reversed they would gladly do the same, and not consider that they are owed anything. This last thing often happens between relatives, but in general, the principle holds. How to tell the direction using only the stars as map. Yes, learn to recognize the circumpolar constellations. I'm only familiar with the northern hemisphere, so my advice is mainly good for northern hemisphere people. These constellations are always in the general northern direction, unless you're literally on the North Pole, in which case they are directly overhead. The two most easily recognizable are Cassiopeia, which is a giant M or W shape in the sky, as well as Ursa Major, which includes the Big Dipper, but just depending on latitude. Some of them may be below the horizon, so make sure that you are able to recognize all of them. Polaris, the North Star, will always be almost exactly north, so learn how to find it by first finding Ursa Major and using your knuckles to find Polaris from there. Polaris really isn't all that bright compared to some of the brighter stars in the sky, so you will have to know how to find it. Being that other non-circumpolar constellations move across the sky all night long, they are relatively useless in determining direction, even if you're a very experienced astronomer or stargazer, because if you don't know what time it is, they won't help you much. A cool thing is, if you have no idea where you are at all, you can at the very least estimate your latitude by finding Polaris. The number of degrees above the horizon Polaris corresponds directly to the number of degrees latitude you are above the equator. Polaris is fixed almost exactly in place from our point of view and won't move. But yeah, you can figure out how to do all of this from Google in probably about 10 minutes. After that though, it's imperative that you go outside yourself and try to find the constellations. because seeing them on paper or on a screen is much different than seeing them in reality. The fountain of youth is movement. Yourself is the only person who is guaranteed to be with you 24/7, and you can't get rid of it. Treat yourself nicely. When considering a different path, always ask 1. At what cost? 2. Compared to what? 3. What is the real evidence? What do you mean by evidence? Example, thinking about going vegan. So what is the cost of such a dietary switch, monetarily, biologically? And compared to your current diet, how will going vegan change your life? Finally, is there any scientific evidence or anecdotal evidence that going vegan will lead you to a better life? How to talk to strangers in mundane interactions. Hello beautiful day, thank you very much, my pleasure, enjoy your day, I appreciate that, great shoes. FYI, it is always sage to compliment a woman or man's shoes. It's non-sexual and show an appreciation of their fashion choice. What if you hate their shoes? Then don't mention it. Compliments feel great for both giver and receiver when they are sincere. Just smile and focus on the heartfelt have a nice day apostrophe. The arrow on your filter needs to point towards the furnace, and please change them every month. 3 months tops. It will help prevent costly repairs. Thanks. Will keep in mind when I buy a train. It probably won't take that little time, but you can learn to manually mentally release the muscles in your head that cause tension headaches. Good luck figuring it out, because finding the method is hard due to the fact that you have to make an effort to stop the muscles' efforts, so you have to apply a sense of letting go, like a clenched fist relaxing to the muscles. When you start to get it, there was a feeling of relief, and like the back top of your throat behind where your tongue can touch relaxes and lowers a bit. It helps a lot once you can notice and let go of those headaches, and it helps with fever headaches. But you have to constantly maintain focus to keep them relaxed, so the pain from the heightened blood pressure due to inflammation is cut in half. Instructions unclear, I have unlocked my ESP power. Ah crap, I forgot to warn you. Just don't touch yourself with it until you develop some delicate control. Trust me. Accept that people don't know the same things you do, and that arguments are not caused by them being deliberately obtuse. This may sound obvious, and I do attribute it in part to my autism, but I think people often assume they all have the same baseline knowledge on things. So people arguing with the obvious, i.e., your knowledge, are just doing it to antagonize. They are not. People know different things. Once you can internalize this knowledge, discussing things with people becomes much easier. I use this concept for teaching as well. In a way, I imagine it as everyone building a skyscraper, each at different stages of construction. It does them absolutely no good to tell them how to build the top floor if they only have the foundations. You have to help them get there if you want the top floor to be useful, and you can't assume everyone's at the top floor already. How to correctly brush your teeth. I worry that I'm doing it wrong. Never ever depend on anyone. If you wanna get something done, you are the one who has to do it. That's why I had to earn my medical degree to give myself surgery. Every once in a while, you need to turn off your radio and roll your windows down. Listen to the noises your car makes. It'll let you know you have an issue that needs to be addressed. Every once in a while, turn off your radio while driving, and just be. Don't answer the questions of a law enforcement officer without a lawyer present. I wanted this to have a lot of answers, because this is genuinely a good question. So I used my free award. Also, I don't really know any answers, that's why I want to see them. Receive without conceit. Release without struggle. If you ever fall through the ice and are trapped underwater, aim for a dark spot. A hole in the ice will look dark. And if someone tries to abduct you, fight like hell, even if they have weapon. Your situation will not improve if they get you to a more private location. Learn how to cook some basic meals, especially breakfast. I started doing it during the initial quarantine, and it went surprisingly fast. A few months of dedication is probably what you'd ideally want to get the meals to a place where they taste good and have a flair of your own personality. But you would not believe how quickly you can learn to cook something. Most YouTube tutorials are only like 3 to 5 minutes, and for simpler dishes you just know that shit forever and never need to consult the recipe again. First thing I learned to do was an omelette, and between watching the video and actually making it, it was way quicker than you'd expect. Best part is that like most things you get better with practice, and you pretty much have an excuse to cook, or bake or whatever every single day. Plus the ladies love a guy who can cook. I mean the stereotype is that we are completely incapable for some reason. So even if you just have one really good dish it goes a long way and doesn't take long at all. If I had to make a recommendation on a first recipe I'd say omelette is easiest. But pancakes are definitely the thing that's most worthwhile. Being able to make homemade pancakes is ducking awesome. I'd recommend checking out Budget Bites. As a good starting point to anyone thinking about doing this. I wouldn't say that any of the recipes are insanely cheap or anything, but the site does a good job to avoid needlessly expensive ingredients without sacrificing taste. This is the site that got me into cooking, and some of my family's favorite recipes came from this site, and then I adapted them just a bit for the family's specific tastes. Also check out the YouTube video of Gordon Ramsay making scrambled eggs. I've made them like he does ever since. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. Perfect advice. How to tie a tie. Remember to breathe. Deep breath in from your mouth for 6 seconds. Hold breath for 3 seconds. Breathe for 8 seconds, or as long as you can from your nose. Repeat as much as you feel your mind is relaxed and your body. Also meditation. I thought you're meant to breathe in from the nose and out the mouth. I could be wrong. I was also always taught this, as apparently our noses are better at sucking up air. That little tab thing on the bottom of your rearview mirror. Flipping it puts it at a different angle that reduces the glare of headlights behind you when driving at night. If someone can explain it better please do, because I learned this on Reddit, and being a second shift person this info has been so helpful on the drive home. Need to iron a shirt but can't be bothered with ironing? Have a hot shower and hang the shirt up in the shower room with the door shut, not in the actual shower. Obviously, the steam from the shower gets the wrinkles out. Hey presto, you have a new wrinkle-free shirt and you're fresh for your night out. Go get 'em tigers. Instructions unclear. Took a shower with my shirt on, but the wrinkles are gone, yes. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.